Escape from Tarkov is undoubtedly the most sophisticated and largest hardcore tactical extraction shooter, shaping and even creating the genre over the past few years. With almost no competition for years, fans are eagerly seeking the next big hit. This leads to constant comparison between any new game remotely connected to the extraction shooter genre and Tarkov. Every new release brings claims, this game is the new Tarkov killer, or here are X alternatives to Tarkov. Many of these games fail to live up to the hype, differ significantly from Tarkov, or aren't true competitors due to fundamental differences. One such game facing this comparison is Grayzone Warfare, a tactical FPS emphasizing realism that generated a big hype with over 900,000 sold copies since it released in early access end of April 2024. In Grayzone Warfare, you join one of 3 private military companies to explore the open world of Lamang Island in a PvEVP scenario. You'll survive against human operators and AI enemies while uncovering the island's lore and leveling up your character and traitor reputation through quests. While there are many similarities between these two games that invite direct comparison, what if I told you that despite these similarities, Grayzone Warfare has fundamental differences that make it a completely different experience? In this video, I'll highlight why Grayzone Warfare, though similar, is not the next Tarkov killer and how fundamental differences set it apart. Let's start with the obvious before diving into deeper fundamental differences. Escape from Tarkov is set in the fictional Russian city of Tarkov, located in the Norvinsk region, a special economic zone between Russia and Europe. The area became embroiled in a political scandal that escalated into armed conflict involving UN peacekeepers, internal troops, and 2 private military companies. Consequently, the region's borders were sealed off, isolating everyone caught in this local war. In contrast, Grayzone Warfare takes place on a fictional Southeast Asian island of Lamang. A mysterious incident led to a complete evacuation and quarantine of the island. 3 private military companies arrived aiming to uncover the events that triggered the quarantine. Their mission is to take control of the island, loot valuable resources, and deal with any remaining stragglers. The first fundamental difference between these 2 games is their structure. Escape from Tarkov is an instance-based game. You choose a map to raid, load in with other players, and complete quests and loot valuables within a limited time. On the other hand, Grayzone Warfare is a sandbox game. You load onto a server and explore the world with minimal restrictions and no time constraints. You start from a base camp, take a helicopter to your point of interest, and return whenever you're done with your raid or if you run out of food, drink, or ammunition. While Tarkov had open world or connected maps on their roadmap, and they just recently have shown some screenshot that allegedly shows a game mechanic to transfer to a different map, it seems that reaching that target is still far away. We will see how that plays out and if that leaves the level-based concept into a sandbox type of game. Another significant difference between these games is how players set up characters, progress, collect quest items, and earn money. In Escape from Tarkov, there are 2 types of characters, the PMC and the Scav. The PMC is your main character progressing through quests and developing skills. The Scav, however, allows you to control an AI and spawn into an ongoing raid, scavenging for leftover loot. With your Scav, you receive a random loadout, and any loot you collect can be transferred to your PMC character's stash if you survive. This can even include quest items or, on rare occasions, gear you previously lost with your PMC. However, this is never guaranteed, and typically gear except the items in your safe container is lost unless insured, in which case it may be returned if not looted by others some days later. Tarkov offers 3 main ways to earn money: quest rewards, selling looted items to one of the 8 traders, and the flea market, where you can trade items with other players potentially for the highest profits. Grayzone Warfare approaches the character setup and progression differently. There is only one character, eliminating the low-risk scav rates of Tarkov. In Grayzone, if you die, you lose all your gear except what's in your safe container. However, you have one chance to retrieve your gear by returning to the location of your death. If you die again, your previous body's loot disappears. Currently, money making in Grayzone Warfare is less sophisticated. The primary income is through questing and trading items with traders, though the latter offers significantly less money compared to the quest rewards. Unlike Tarkov, there isn't an established platform for trading items with other players yet, making player-to-player trading less prevalent. While both games claim to be a PvEVP-oriented shooter, there is a significant difference how both games are interpreting the subgenre. Tarkov heavily focuses on PvP aspects of the genre. Questing often involves eliminating a specific number of Bear or USEC faction players, sometimes in various ways such as using grenades, from long distances, or while wearing specific loadouts. The added arena game mode and its connection to the main game further highlights the developers' emphasis on PvP. Don't get me wrong, PvE and exploring Tarkov's lore are still part of the experience. Quests to collect items, kill bosses, unlock in-game quest givers like Lightkeeper, and defeat AI enemies are included, but the primary focus remains on PvP. Yes, Tarkov now has a PvE mode aimed at players who prefer not to engage in PvP or want a break from it. However, this PvE mode is not linked to the main game, is currently only available to a selected group of players based on their bought edition, and features a completely different character progression that never wipes unless the player wants it. Grey Zone Warfare interprets PvEVP in a completely different way. The game's current focus is primarily on exploring the lore of Lamang Island through PvE-oriented quests. These quests involve killing various AI enemies and bosses or simply collecting intel to bring back to base. This heavy emphasis on storytelling makes Grey Zone Warfare very immersive. A good example is the quest Negotiator, where you investigate the fate of a person sent to negotiate a ceasefire who was then captured, tortured, and killed in a Soviet military bunker. You won't find PvP-oriented quests requiring players to kill members of other factions or raid other PMC bases, at least not yet. Another aspect highlighting the game's PvE direction is the option to play on purely PvE servers. This allows players to take a break from or completely avoid PvP without having a separate or unlinked character progression. You cannot damage or be damaged by other players, even though they are still on the server and working on their quests. This means you have a single progression system that can be played on either a PvP server called Warfare Mode or PvE server called Joint Operations, with the flexibility to switch between them as you like. Escape from Tarkov and Grey Zone Warfare each offer unique experiences in the tactical shooter genre. Tarkov is known for its intense, instance-based gameplay. You choose a map to raid, complete objectives within a set time, and battle both AI and other players. Its dual character system featuring PMCs and scavs adds strategic depth. The game's economy is highly developed with quest rewards, NPC trading, and player-driven flea market. Tarkov's primary focus is on PvP, emphasized by addition of the arena game mode, though it includes some PvE elements. Grey Zone Warfare, on the other hand, provides a sandbox experience on the quarantine island Lamang. Players use a single character to explore the open world at their own pace, focusing on PvE and storytelling. Quests involve uncovering the island's mysteries and dealing with AI enemies. The game allows for PvE-only servers, letting players avoid PvP while maintaining a unified character progression. While Escape from Tarkov emphasizes a structured competitive PvP environment, Grey Zone Warfare prioritizes immersion, exploration, and a flexible PvE experience. Both games offer compelling reasons to play, but cater to different playstyles and preferences. Whether you enjoy the high-stakes raids of Tarkov or narrative-driven exploration of Grey Zone Warfare, both games contribute unlikely to the genre. To sum it up, Grey Zone Warfare is not the next Tarkov killer, or a direct alternative to Escape from Tarkov. The fundamental differences make them distinct games, each bringing joy and entertainment to their audiences. Both games can and will coexist with their individual player bases. As you have seen, there are fundamental differences between Escape from Tarkov and Grey Zone Warfare. Tarkov launched its closed alpha back in 2016, while Grey Zone Warfare only recently debuted in April 2024. Both games have a lot more in store for the future. If you're curious about what's next for Grey Zone Warfare in 2024, check out the video linked on the left, where I break down the upcoming roadmap and the next big update. Now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Escape from Tarkov and Grey Zone Warfare? Drop your comments below. I'd love to know which game you prefer and why. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, even if you didn't, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. That's all from me. Take care.